Hey everybody, welcome to What They Don't Teach You in School, where we teach life. My name is Donnie Thomas, and today we're going to be discussing confidence. Actually, 3 ways to build your confidence. Now, I decided that this particular topic was important because throughout my interactions with my clients and in society in general, I am finding that confidence is depleted for so many reasons. And the 3 key things that I found were: 1, labels; 2, there is no progress being made. And so there are no examples that people can lean on to say that I can continue to build and do better than what I did before. And 3, there is no action, consistent action that's being taken. And now when I speak about labels, I was having a conversation with my father, and my father said to me, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, one of the biggest problems in societies is labels. Now, labels do a lot of good things for us. They do allow us to identify when something is potentially harmful for us, or when we should not go this way and we should go the other way. But with all things, there is a point of diminishing returns where there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And then it becomes we're using labels to then justify how we feel about a person versus addressing the root cause of the issues. Prime example, when you look at Democrats versus Republicans, Republicans and Democrats in some instances won't even agree to a good idea simply because it did not come from their party. Now, I'm not arguing where it originated or how it originated, but what I'm saying is that if you can even look at a good idea, but because of who it's coming from, you won't accept it, that is something that is limiting. And it's these kinds of labels that other people assign to us and expect us to operate within that hinder us from being our full selves. Because how dare you step outside of this party and have this idea that doesn't align with the party you're supposed to be aligned with? How dare you be an individual free thinker that makes their own decisions based on the facts that they were able to identify and find? And so for me, although there are labels that may be important, I don't subscribe to or recommend that others subscribe to labels that anybody else has placed on them, except for the labels that they believe that apply to them. But the labels I'm speaking of relate to your core values, because it's about the values. You want to address the issues and not the person. Be mad at the issue. Think about how to fix the issue. Don't be mad at the person. Now, the person may be related to fixing the issue, but the core root of the issue could lie in something other than the person. And so one of the first things that I mentioned in terms of building your confidence is doing away with the labels that other people have assigned to you and replacing them with the values that you believe support and sustain your life. People want to tell you, oh, you're a cisgender, Democrat, African American, minority. Like, there are too many labels that people want to peg you into in order to understand you, instead of understanding your values. And your values don't necessarily neatly align with all of the labels that people place on you. And so when you do away with this concept of labels and you start to just think about the values that are showing up in people and places and things and whether or not they align with you, you begin to form a different sense of your identity. And when you have a strong handle on your identity, then you can move to the next thing, which is progress, right? One of the biggest motivators for many of my clients and confidence builders for many of my clients is seeing the incremental progress towards the goals that they've set for themselves. Right? You once you identify who you are and you stand firm in it, unshakable in it, it is now setting goals. The next step is to set goals that allow you to continue to progress towards being the better version of yourself every day. Being better than where you were yesterday. You are your bar. And I can't say this enough. And we try to point the finger at other people on social media for living their lives or displaying the life that they choose to display to us and say that that's harmful because now it's making me depressed. But no one forced you to go onto social media to follow an account to then be depressed by what you chose to watch. This is a very hard truth, but I have to say it. We can no longer continue to give the power of our destiny to other people when they're just simply living in their truth, in their confidence. Because they have a nice body, then you feel like they're body shaming by just being them. Be you and progress towards the things that you value and remove the things that you don't value. And the beauty of the society or this social media age that we live in is you can select what you want to see and what you don't want to see. And so as you're building your confidence, one again, understanding who you are and your values, not the labels that people try to attach to you, your race, your gender, your age, where you came from, what's your income bracket, who you are and what your values are. And then you establish clear goals for you to be better than where you were yesterday. You'll begin to see that incremental progress. Have you ever been in school for a degree and you see yourself going through the classes and then you look up and you're like, oh my God, I only have a few credits left. And you're like, oh my God, this is exciting. You're motivated because you're putting in the work and you're incrementally working towards a goal. When we stop progressing, we stop growing. And anything that's not growing is dying. And so even in your funds, your finances, the reason why people are constantly talking about building and building and more and more and more, at some point when your basic needs are met, more money is not a motivator for you. But what happens is you begin to die internally when you are stagnant and you choose not to continue to progress. So you want to identify areas of your life where you can improve in so that you can continue to build in that area. So let's say perhaps you happened upon someone's Instagram page or Facebook page or whatever page, and you look at them and you say, oh my God, their health is on a different level than mine. I wish I looked like that. Or I wish I was better in that area of my life. Their finances, they appear to be doing financially well. I wish that I was like them or at their level. Then one thing you might consider is, now that you've identified a bar, setting that bar and defining it for yourself, and then removing the distractions by unfollowing for a while or muting or whatever the new term is. But doing that for a while until you begin to gain the traction that you want in your life. And then you may get to a point where you can then go back and follow or unmute or whatever you need to do. There's nothing wrong with turning things off for a little while until you get yourself together. But you are in control of your own destiny and your own confidence. And the last thing is consistent action. Consistently operating within the values that you believe and setting the goals and acting towards those goals. I've had to bottom line several discussions to tell people you will never reach the goal that you want if you do not act. You can plan for 1,000,000 years. We can sit on these conference calls every week if you'd like. But until you make a decision to act, nothing will happen. And unless you have the money to have someone else act for you, it will never happen. So you have the responsibility to consistently act within the values that you have set for yourself, removing the labels that other people try to impose upon you. How are you defining yourself? And consistently, for the most part, acting like that. And when I say consistently, I don't mean that you won't ever deviate from it, because we are human. There are multiple facets of yourself and they show up at different times, and people will sometimes make you believe that because you aren't always one way, that you are not in alignment with who you are, and that's a lie. It just means that at some times you have to bring out another part of yourself, or you may bring out another part of yourself, and that is okay. But as long as you are doing the work consistently that it takes in order to move you towards the goals that you have set based on how you defined yourself, you'll start to be more confident. You'll see the confidence coming up in you. When people try to tell you, why are you thinking that way? These are my values. This is what I value. What do you value? Because you'll know. You don't have to align yourself with someone else's values. You don't have to be afraid that because you don't believe in the group think that now people won't like you. Those people are not in alignment with your values, and I guarantee you that there are more than 7 billion people on this planet. You'll find people that will align with your values. And until then, maintain the truth about who you are. And that confidence will continue to grow. Now, I hope that this was helpful. It was placed on me to have this discussion with you all today. Definitely comment, send me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope to talk to you soon.